mention the building itself. The building is very interesting, has an interesting past and history. Can you just run us down just real quick on the history of your current location?
Yeah, I'm sitting in the most haunted building in Frederick. So if you've ever taken one of the great ghost tours here in town, which I highly recommend as well, you'll stand in the street right in front of Beans and Bagels, and you'll stare up at my office here on the third floor, and you'll hear all these wonderful tales of interesting stories that happen. I can definitely say strange things happen up here. We do Halloween tours and bring people up to the third floor because that's where most of the things happen. I'm of the opinion that my cousin said it best. He said, David, the Bible's very clear on that topic. It exists and you don't mess with it. And that's kind of the approach I take. And, we've all heard noises. The big thing that we hear in here are little kids running around and nobody's in the building. And it goes on from there. But my thought is this was a furniture store way back in the day. And war breaks out. So what's a way to make a little extra money? You have the raw materials and the tools to then build caskets. So you start to build caskets, and then to make a little more money, you hire an embalmer to come in and embalm bodies. So this was actually an embalming station for General Hospital Number 1 here in Frederick during the Civil War. So in the basement, there were bodies embalmed. It was also a funeral home. So I actually had Mrs. Randall in, who grew up here, as did George Delaplane. His mother was born right here in my office. And so and George Delaplane of the Delaplane Foundation, of the Delaplane Visual Arts Center, used to own the Frederick News Post. And they would tell stories about how they would go down in the middle of the night and trip over a body because it was a funeral home. And back in the day, they would drop the bodies off at night. Jumping back to the embalming station in Civil War, the guy who was the embalmer is Dr. Richard Burr, and we have a mannequin of him. And any rule that was put in place in the Union Army to regulate embalming was usually a direct result of his bad behavior. So he was not a good guy, and he operated out of here. So those are kind of my theories on why this is probably the most haunted building in Frederick. But